speech, and Jahnavi will be explaining about the difference between direct and indirect speech, and my student Dayabaran will be explaining about the rules and regulations and how
you have allowed him. In indirect, he applauded him.
Don't worry.
Applauded him.
Don't worry.
Applauded him.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Viswashini. In Saitech language lab, today we have just to teach to my students about direct and indirect speech and its rules and regulation, and how we have to change direct to indirect and indirect speech to direct speech, and where this indirect and direct speech are applied and its overall importance. So my students will be explaining about these subtopics like introduction about direct and indirect. We should change direct to indirect speech and indirect to direct speech, and what are they applied here, like questions, explanations, command and request. So thank you. I will call upon my students to explain this direct and indirect speech briefly. So I am going to call my student Jahnavi to explain about the direct and indirect speech in briefly. Come Jahnavi. Yeah.
So today our ma'am taught us about the direct and indirect speech and what are their values and how they are differentiating and how they are used in our English grammar. So first, the direct speech is the actual words, and indirect is the changed. If we are talking one-to-one person in the direct speech, like only the first person and the second person is included, and as well in indirect, the third person is included. So if I am saying something to this ma'am, and only our both discussion is happening, and in indirect, our ma'am tells to some other person, that is called indirect. The third person is including. So the direct speech is actual words which are said by me to ma'am. And for example, in indirect, ma'am is saying the same words to another person in a different way. For example, direct speech, he is saying, Rama said, I am very busy now. And in indirect, it's changed because we are telling to the third person. Rama said that he was very busy then.
So only this actual speech or called direct speech are called as actual words, because the statement is like true. The one person which they are converting to the other person, it is like the normal statement. Okay, they won't be adding any own words by them. But when the second person is going and conveying it to the third person, they will be adding their own words. So only they are called as reported speech. So the second person will be going and reporting to the third person what is said by the first person. So when it is clear cut, it is called as a reported speech. And Jahnavi, and I think you know about the rules and regulations. Before that, I think you know what is the difference between the direct and indirect speech. Yeah, you can proceed.
So the difference between the direct and indirect speech, in direct speech, in every sentence, the inverted commas are included. For example, in direct speech, Rama said, and inverted comma, I am very busy, and at the end, another inverted comma. So in direct speech, the inverted commas are included, and in indirect speech, the inverted commas are not included. And then conjunction. If, for example, in direct, Rama said, I am very busy now. And for indirect, the word that is included in indirect. Rama said that he was very busy then. So ma'am is telling to another person. So ma'am is telling that I told that I am very busy, so she is telling to another person. And
In reporting questions, in indirect speech is introduced by some verbs as ask and inquire.
Yes, in reporting questions, when we talk about the questions, we will just replacing the two words such as asked and inquired. So in direct, I have just mentioned a question, where do you live? Ask the stranger. In indirect, I have changed that the stranger inquired. So I have asked this changed as inquired, where I lived. So when we talk about the command and request, here the same. In reporting commands and request, the indirect speech is introduced by some verb, which is an action, expressing some command or request. So the imperative mood is changed to infinite mode. When we talk about imperative mode, it is all about the command and request. For example, I am just making a command here. Bring a glass of water. Just like commanding someone, as if I am commanding Dayabaran. Go bring a glass of water. Here, so I have just given a word called please, which is like a requesting. I am requesting Dayabaran like please go and take water and come. It's like I have requested here. So it comes under request, and this is like commanding. I am commanding someone. When we talk about infinite, it is about being or action. Here, action is to love, to eat, to believe, love. This all are done in our day-to-day life. So it's all which we do or express in our day-to-day life. So it comes under infinite.
So in the direct, call the first witness, said the judge. In indirect, the judge commanded them to call the first witness.
So this is the example for command and request. So in direct, we have just commanded. Call the first witness, said the judge. Whereas in direct, I have just mentioned a particular word, that is commanded. So while we are changing to indirect, the judge commanded them to call the first witness. He is like commanding to call the first witness. So just this is the last one, that is the exclamations and wishes. We know that the exclamatory sentence, we will be denoting it by a symbol like this, exclamatory symbol. So exclamation is all it's all about the emotions which we give while talking or expressing it to someone. So continue, yeah.
So indirect speech is introduced by some verb expressing exclamation or a wish. In direct speech is said bravo.
Yes, last is about the explanations and wishes. So we know we will be always denoting this explanations word by a particular symbol. We will be giving the symbol. This is all about when we talk about a particular emotion which we express in our day-to-day life as a human. So in indirect speech, it is introduced by some word expressing explanation of wish. So here we have just gave some example. Dayabaran, just read
So
it.
in direct, he said bravo, you have done well. In indirect, he applauded him saying that he had done well.
Yeah, here bravo. It's something like giving more emotion. Bravo is something normal, not a normal emotion. It's like all emotion. They have explained in the direct. So here in indirect, we have just changed it into some verb. Here the bravo is changed into some verb expressing the explanation or a wish. Okay. So here the bravo is changed into applauded. He applauded him saying that he had done well. So this is all about the direct and indirect speech. I hope that you all understood. Thank you.